prosecutor. Here's what we're hearing. The U.S. attorney for the Southern District out of New York set to announce the unsealing of an indictment in the charging of U.S. Senator Robert Menendez, the senior senator from the state of New Jersey, and his wife Nadine, with bribery offenses in connection with their corrupt relationship, they say, of three businessmen out of New Jersey. That's about it now. It would be the second time Menendez has been indicted. He stood trial several years ago that ended in a mistrial. The New Jersey Democrat up for re-election next year, which could be interesting, but Democratic states, so you wonder whether or not that could change hands and change parties in a re-election. But right now, Menendez is facing a press conference, perhaps later today, at 11 a.m. On behalf of the feds. That will give us a bit more information as to what is going down here. What do you got here? You got Damian Williams from the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and James Smith, as you mentioned, Dana, 11 a.m. today, Eastern.
So 6 years ago, he had a trial in a different corruption case, and that ended in a hung jury. Okay, so he is no stranger to these allegations. He beat them one time. This one's a little different. It even involves gold bars. You know, it's a little bit brazen. Of course, he'll have his day in court, but it sounds like the Southern District of New York said, we are on our way to charge Bob Menendez.
They also mentioned the three businessmen in this report. Gentlemen by the name of Will Hanna, Jose Uribe, and Fred Davies. Don't know what the relationship is or what the extent of the business relationship is with them, in which they allegedly accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars in bribes in exchange for using Menendez's power and influence as a senator to seek to protect and enrich those three men and benefit the government of Egypt. So this gets deeper the more we read into it, and momentarily we're going to get Jonathan Turley and Chad Pergam to fill in some of the holes for us.
So one other little thing about this, I mentioned that 6 years ago he had similar charges that were basically it resulted in a hung jury. So those charges were dismissed. At that time, in 2018, they said that that's when this one case ended. But in the indictment today, they say this new corrupt relationship began around 2018. So that would have been the same year.
So he's been in the crosshairs for some time.
Seems golden for prosecutors. How serious are these charges? Let's ask former U.S. Attorney Guy Lewis. Guy, you almost don't know where to start. I want to begin with the because he was in charge of the foreign affairs. This aid or the helping the Egyptian president. This I think is probably the most problematic part of all of this. It's very, very worrisome. This is a very powerful committee that he was in charge of. Your thoughts and the evidence pointing to this?
Hey, Charles, thanks for having me. Boy, oh boy, it's straight out, to me, it's straight out of The Sopranos, a New Jersey crime family that's got the senator in his pocket for sure. The evidence is extraordinarily strong. I've been very critical of the FBI and the special prosecutor lately because of the Hunter Biden case. In this case, I'll pat him on the back and the FBI on the back because they've done an extraordinary job building a very strong case. As you mentioned, one of the key points is the influence that they were purchasing through him in the foreign affairs issue, and him, the senator, attempting and trying to influence criminal prosecutions, state and federal. And they've just got, the evidence is just as strong as any I've ever seen.
Guy, to your point, so a 39-page indictment, apparently to one article laid out in painstaking details, a series of deleted text messages, encrypted phone calls, shell company payments, and then, you know, this is the part, you talk about Sopranos, think about this one when things falling off the back of a truck. The bribes even included 2 exercise machines and an air purifier. Like, I mean, this is just like, it doesn't get any better than this for the imagination, but it doesn't get any worse than this for the nation. This is a U.S. senator we're talking about.
A senior U.S. senator who has access to classified information, sensitive information that, according to the document, he was providing through his wife to the Egyptian foreign nationals. I've got to tell you, they really did their homework. Searches, cash, gold, tapes,
Fingerprints.
fingerprints, meetings, photographs. I mean, look, I don't know what else they could have except a confession,
Right.
which they don't have. He's denying it profusely. But I tell you, I don't think it's going to take a jury, whether it's in New Jersey, New York, or wherever, about 10 minutes to decide he's guilty of sin.
Again, back to the Egyptian part. So U.S. lawmakers, this is back in July. U.S. lawmakers urged Biden to withhold more military aid to Egypt. They wanted the administration to withhold $320 million in it. These are, by the way, all fellow Democrats. Chris Murphy, Sherrod Brown, Blumenthal, Durbin, Sanders, Holland, Warren, Kaine, Carper, and then, of course, Cardin, who is now the temporary head of this same committee. And so as we dig in there, and you're saying we've got a leader that some are saying is moving more, taking rights away from their people, I think it's interesting to juxtapose that to allowing people to come into our country under the guise that they're fleeing persecution. It just stinks to high heaven that in one instance, you really can't prove that. In the other one, you have evidence, and still they were pushing through this, through these funds, and mostly because, perhaps, I'm just speculating, because of the efforts of Senator Menendez.
Boy, you make a great point, Charles, and the evidence supports everything you just said. The text messages, the contacts, the back and forth between the senator, his wife, and the Egyptian nationals. I mean, they've got it sewn up, again, dead to right. And I compare that to Hunter Biden and how they've sat on that case and they've done nothing. And again, I credit the FBI and the U.S. Attorney in New York, who clearly is independent, who clearly has no ties to the politics or to the administration. He's done a heck of a job here.
Guy Lewis, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday.
We are following breaking news. New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez and his wife have been indicted on federal bribery charges.
The Department of Justice says the couple accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes from 3 New Jersey businessmen. Federal prosecutors allege Menendez used his influence to benefit the 3 men and the government of Egypt. In a statement, the senator says they, quote, misrepresented the normal work of a congressional office. The charges stem from a years-long public corruption investigation into the chair of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee.
There are things that Senator Menendez says he can do for his constituents and things that he says he cannot do for his constituents. He put it all on his Senate website. So, for instance, it says he cannot compel an agency to act in someone's favor. It says he cannot influence matters involving a private business. It says he cannot get involved in criminal matters or cases, period. But we allege that behind the scenes, Senator Menendez was doing those things for certain people.
Jessica Levinson and Robert Legary join us now. Jessica is a CBS News legal contributor, and Robert is a CBS News Justice Department reporter. All right, so Jessica, walk us through the evidence laid out in this indictment.
The evidence here is that Senator Menendez enriched himself, made decisions not for the public good, but for the private good, meaning his bank account, and that he took bribes, that he took, we saw gold bars, that he took cash, and that he took that money in order to affect investigations, in order to do things like use his position as a public official and give a foreign government, the Egyptian government, sensitive information. This goes to the heart of what it doesn't mean to be a public servant. Being a public servant means that you run for office or you're appointed in order to make decisions to benefit your constituents, not to make decisions that benefit yourself. And that's what we see with the evidence across the screen here. It is, I have to say, somewhat remarkable evidence. Again, the gold bars, the cash, the gifts. This is a really astonishing in terms of the breadth and depth of the evidence against the senator.
Robert, I want to bring you into this conversation. All of this is taking place under the backdrop of Congressional Republicans accusing the Department of Justice of unequal treatment, of witch hunts, of weaponizing the Justice Department. How common is it to see the Justice Department bringing charges against a sitting senator or elected politician?
Well, not very common at all. When Justice Department investigators, particularly in the Southern District of New York, take on investigations like this, they take it very seriously. And they, as Jessica said, the evidence laid out in the indictment is indeed remarkable. There are 3 charges here, but it's almost a 40-page indictment. And so that shows us that prosecutors wanted to make sure that.
So as we can see, a corrupt politician has been found. Well, actually, it's all of them. Oh my goodness. They're all doing it. They're all, you can't become a politician without the corruption.
What you see here are 3 kilograms of gold. These 3 kilograms together are worth approximately $150,000. This is the Mercedes-Benz that we allege that Uribe provided as part of the scheme. And of course, here you can see just a fraction of the cash. The indictment alleges that between 2018 and 2022, Senator Menendez, the senior U.S. Senator from New Jersey and the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, and his wife, Nadine Menendez, engaged in a corrupt relationship with Hannah, Uribe, and Davies. The indictment alleges that through that relationship, the senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen and to benefit the government of Egypt.
What's interesting is the manner in which the exchange of favors, if you want to call them that, plays out is often through his wife. The way the indictment is structured, there are a number of statements and communications made between Senator Menendez and his wife, and allegedly between Senator Menendez's wife and some of the other people who are charged that lead to these actions that the prosecutors are saying that Senator Menendez engaged in. But it's incredibly serious when you are speaking of non-public information being provided to foreign actors.
So I don't know. I don't know what else is there to say. I mean,
bribery, selling access from a Democrat. Let's talk about it. This here is Bob Menendez, Democrat from New Jersey, sits on the Foreign Relations Committee, not only sits on the committee, but chairs the committee, meaning he has the gavel, will decide what we talk about today down there in the Senate Foreign Relations. This is his wife, baby, and the people say down there in the Southern District of New York, they've been bribing and scheming and things. Now, they're saying that Bob Menendez and his wife have taken hundreds of thousands of dollars to benefit 3 businessmen in New Jersey and Egypt. They're saying one of the businessmen has close ties to the wife and has funneled hundreds of thousands of dollars. Oh, gosh, can't even talk. Hundreds of thousands of dollars through her. And in return, Bob Menendez used his power to get the man a contract to provide halal meat or the exclusive person to provide halal meat to Egypt. Baby, where the FBI went ahead and knocked on that door and found all this money, $480,000 worth of cash and over $100,000 of gold bars. Let's look at the gold bars. I mean, legit gold bars. Now, the crazy thing is, this is Bob Menendez's 2nd time being caught up in some type of bribery investigation. He did within 10 years. He was first charged way back when, but ended up having a hung jury, and so he got off. This one is totally unrelated to the other alleged crime that took place 10 years ago. I said, now what is happening, all this bribery and shenanigans? Let me tell you something. Now that they have gone after an ex-president for his alleged crimes, baby, all bets are off, baby. The FBI, the IRS, the CIA, they're not playing no more. They're not playing. Because if you can go ahead and prosecute ex-president, mug shots and everything else, baby, you're a senator. You're a senator. What do you think is going to happen? So all senators, congresspeople, people in positions of power in our government, be on notice. Don't be bribing and scheming and things, okay? Just do your job. Do what we sent you down there to do. Legislate.
I hope this guy is prosecuted, and I hope they find I hope they all start stitching on each other and acting like that. All these underlings over our supervisors, our overseers. I hope that they catch it. They entangle them all into this web and finally do something.
Who can take your money with a twinkle in their eye? A twinkle in their eye. Take it all away and give it to some other guy. The government. The government. The government can.
Because this is just they all enriched themselves. I mean, Pelosi inside trading. I mean, these Democrats is just unbelievable.
One of the most powerful senators in Congress, New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez, indicted tonight, accused of taking a fortune in bribes to wield influence at home and abroad. Tonight, facing new calls to resign amid these new and stunning images of gold bars and wads of cash allegedly found in his home. The senator was named in the federal indictment along with his wife and 3 associates. Agents searching the Menendez home saying they found $480,000 in cash, some of that cash hidden in a jacket embroidered with the senator's name. More than $100,000 in gold bars and a Mercedes convertible, they say as well. Now, part of this indictment, the description of Menendez allegedly going online and Googling how much is 1 kilo of gold worth. Here's our senior investigative reporter, Aaron Katersky now.
This is the Mercedes-Benz.
These are images prosecutors say of blatant bribes accepted by one of the Senate's most powerful Democrats, Bob Menendez. Glittering gold bars, a luxury car, and wads of cash stuffed inside a jacket with the senator's name on it. The sweeping federal indictment, which also charges the senator's wife Nadine and 3 New Jersey associates, accuses Menendez, chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, of selling state secrets to the government of Egypt.
Senator Menendez allegedly provided sensitive, non-public U.S. government information to Egyptian officials and otherwise took steps to secretly aid the government of Egypt.
Menendez is also charged with trying to intervene in criminal investigations into 2 businessmen, including by recommending President Biden nominate a U.S. attorney Menendez believed would look favorably towards one of the cases.
The senator and his wife accepted hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in exchange for Senator Menendez using his power and influence to protect and to enrich those businessmen.
The bribes allegedly include payments toward a mortgage, a Mercedes convertible, and 3 gold bars. The indictment says upon returning from one trip to Egypt, Menendez performed a web search for how much is 1 kilo of gold worth. When the FBI searched his home, the indictment says agents found nearly $500,000 in cash stuffed into envelopes and hidden in clothing, closets, and a safe. Some even found in the senator's embroidered congressional jacket. On his very own website, Menendez says a senator cannot influence matters involving private business or intervene in a criminal case.
But we allege that behind the scenes, Senator Menendez was doing those things for certain people, the people who were bribing him and his wife.
This is now the second time Menendez has faced federal corruption charges. His first case ended in a mistrial and was later dismissed in 2018. Tonight, the senator and his wife both proclaiming their innocence, Menendez accusing prosecutors of making false claims against him and adding they have misrepresented the normal work of a congressional office.
Our investigative reporter, Aaron Katersky, with us tonight. Aaron, we know the senator's first corruption trial ended in a hung jury. You reported that there. Prosecutors tonight say these new charges are completely different, not related to that case.
Totally separate case, and David Menendez is going to have to step down as chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. A moment ago, though, the governor of New Jersey, Phil Murphy, and other top Democrats in the state called on him to resign. Menendez faces up to 20 years if he's convicted, David. All right.
I mean, I hope the population is waking up. I mean, the other day I spoke to a guy, and he literally told me that the economy is the best it's been. I mean, I don't get it. I don't get it. We have a serious problem. That's why it's time to abandon ship. Like this guy said, he said, yo, if your country is not doing right by you, leave that country and then let it fall apart, let it follow a course. And then when it's all finished and everything like that, come back and rebuild. I mean, shoot. You know, these motherfuckers, especially Don't owe them nothing. But anyway, you got that. And I heard some crazy thing today. I heard that NATO, that it's quite obvious that NATO has struck Crimea. That's with the Ukraine situation. So therefore, NATO's the United States. That means that the United States has officially attacked Russia. So we don't know what Putin's going to do next, but I know it ain't going to be, it's not going to be nice. And I was listening to Hotep. Hotep, he was looking on the web doing his grift, and he went into the CPI and the oil reserves. And I distinctively know, and I'm quite sure he knew as well, that when Europe was having its problems and United States said, oh, we're going to do whatever we can to help Europe because, their fuel prices going through the roof. And then the pipeline blew up and everything. So what did America do? Sold our reserves to Europe at a crazy price. And the oil companies took full advantage, made a hell of a killing. Thus, and also opened up the reserves to lower the fuel prices to combat inflation, which inflation is highly gauged by fuel prices, energy. So Biden distorted it by pumping all this extra reserve fuel into the system. Now it's all gone. And now Russia will not export any diesel. They're doing that indefinitely. So what's going to happen now? And you got Saudi Arabia cutting back, all the Gulf, Arab nations, they're cutting back. So there's no energy. And you got to transport food. It's going to get crazy. We're going to get hit from every angle. Thus, back to the first point. Best to just leave. If you got another place to go, this is the time to make your exit. This is the time to make the exit because this right here ain't going to be pretty. But I say these things and people say, damn, you being negative. And I'm like, yo, I'm just telling you the reality. Letting you know what I see is coming. And yet these politicians, they getting themselves ready. They stealing hand over fist, blowing up their pockets so they be straight and they can sit up there and tell you what to do and what you need to do, what sacrifices you have to make. Wow, we got to put out another couple of billion, 100 billion. You, the taxpayer, should put out 100 billion to Ukraine, which it could never win. Could never win that war. So, giant money laundering thing. So it's just screwed. Screwed on every level. I have never, I just like, wow, I never seen such evil. I never seen such betrayal to your own people. I mean, these people, they must be, either they're aliens or they're They're spies. They work for a foreign government put into power to destroy the country. I mean, damn, this is just ridiculous. How does this happen? How? And people don't see it. I mean, the whole thing is corrupt. Both sides. Dog and pony show. You know? And then I heard Trump talking. Oh, I can fix everything in 6 months. I get reelected, I can fix it all in 6 months. I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, it's just like, I don't know what side of the coin he's playing. I don't know. I mean, damn, what sure as hell he was better, but he's definitely part of the problem too. Oh, Project Warp Speed, unbelievable. But anyway, that's it for now. I hope that this guy, this politician, gets a nice, hefty jail sentence, and then he starts turning on everybody else, and they just start bagging up everybody. Because obviously, he's not connected to the Clintons or something. Because if he was connected to them, I bet you the DOJ people will start dropping dead. But anyway, till next time, see you later.
This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. 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 This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. This is America. Don't got you slipping now. Don't got you slipping now. Look what I'm whipping now. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area. I got the strap. I gotta carry 'em. Yeah, I'ma go into this. Yeah, I'ma go into